Welcome back to my channel, Studies Made Simple and Easy. This is going to be part 4 of the video. In this, I'll be discussing about differentiation between mass and weight, what are gravitational waves, where are they found, what is escape velocity, how much velocity is required to escape from Earth, how much velocity is required to escape from Sun, how much escape velocity is required to escape from a neutron star. It's not given in a textbook, I know, but it's just for facts. So please watch the video till the end. Stay tuned. Let's get started. So we'll discuss with mass and weight first. So what exactly is mass? Mass is the amount of matter present in an object. Now, for instance, or for example, suppose you have a person and a person wants to go to a different planet. Will that person change on a different planet? No. That person will not change on a different planet. Suppose an astronaut goes to moon. Did that astronaut change? No. The astronaut is just the same, right? So the mass is nothing but amount of matter. So what is the astronaut made up of? He is the material which the astronaut is made up of, a material, a particular object is made up of, it remains same. So mass remains same everywhere in the universe, and mass is nothing but amount of matter present in the object. One more example I like to put forth. Suppose you have a pen and you take a pen to another planet. Will that pen change? No, the pen will be a pen only, right? So what will change about the pen? The pen's weight will change. So what exactly is weight? Weight of an object is defined as the force with which the earth attracts the object. Okay, his mass will remain same. The pen's mass will remain same. But what will change? His weight will change. Now what is weight? Now weight is a force and its SI unit is Newton. Weight is a vector quantity and its direction is directed towards the center of the earth. So any object is directed towards the center of the earth, and what does that mean? So weight depends upon what? Weight depends ultimately upon value of g. And as I told you in the previous video, if you didn't watch my previous video, I'll be giving the links in the description. Please go and check it. Okay, it's a very valuable video. So the value of g is not same everywhere. As value of g is not same everywhere, the weight of an object is also not same everywhere. How would you explain it, sir? I'll explain it by a numerical. We have a numerical. Okay, suppose the mass of a body is 75 kg. What is the mass of a body? Mass of a body 75 kg. What does this mean? The mass of the person will remain same anywhere in the universe. The person is made up of 75 kg mass, so his mass will be same anywhere in the universe. Okay, but what will that person's weight be? What is the formula for weight? The formula for weight is F is equal to mg, or W is equal to mg. Now mass formula is 75 into g value is 9.8. okay, so when you calculate this, what answer you get? You get the answer to be 735 Newton. You get the answer to be 735 Newton. So what we conclude from this? What's the difference between mass and weight? Mass remains same anywhere in the universe, and weight is not same anywhere in the universe. Why? Because weight depends upon the value of g. Okay, it depends upon the value of g. I change this value will also change, but what will remain same? Mass will always remain same anywhere in the universe. Weight is not same anywhere in the universe. What is the SI unit of mass? SI unit of mass is kg, and SI unit of weight is Newton. Okay, weight, mass is a scalar quantity and weight is a vector quantity. Now what does scalar mean? Scalar means a quantity which has only direction. It has only magnitude, whereas vector means it has magnitude as well as direction. If you want a video explaining what's the difference between scalar and vector in detail, please let me know in the comments. I will love to make a video for you in the comments. Let's get started. We move ahead. Okay, we come to a next topic that is called as gravitational waves. So what are gravitational waves and where are they found? Gravitational waves are disturbance in the curvature of space-time generated by accelerated masses that propagate as waves outward from their source at the speed of light. So gravitational waves are waves which are emitted by an astronomical body. Maybe Earth emits gravitational waves, maybe Moon emits gravitational waves, maybe Sun emits gravitational waves. Every astronomical object emits gravitational waves. And who predicted these waves? These waves were predicted by Einstein in 1916, if I am not wrong. Right, he predicted such waves in 1916. And which instruments can detect them? There's an instrument which is called as LIGO, if you didn't know. It is called as Laser Interferometric Gravitational Wave Observatory. Laser Interferometric Gravitational Wave Observatory. Now what are gravitational waves? Gravitational waves are similar to other waves like infrared rays, UV rays, X-rays, microwaves. Okay, these are similar to them, but gravitational waves are produced by whom? These are produced by astronomical bodies. We move ahead. So we come to a concept which is called as free fall. So what exactly is free fall? Now to understand this, you have to take an example. If you take a stone and you throw that stone downwards, or if you release that stone from your hand, what forces will act on that stone? You have to think about it. What forces will act on that stone? Okay, if you know the answer, let me know in the comments. I will love to see your answers. So let's get to free fall. What exactly is free fall? So when an object falls only under the influence of gravity alone, it is said to be freely falling. When an object falls only under the influence of gravity, only gravity acts on it, no other forces act on it. If you know the other force, let me know in the comments. I would love to see your answers. But as for now, what are we talking about is that if the object only falls under the influence of gravity alone, it is said to be freely falling. But is true free fall possible in real life? No. True free fall is not possible in real life, because when you release a stone from your hand, what other forces act on it? They are friction, its air resistance, and gravity. Three forces act on a stone. If you release a stone from your hand, three forces act on it: friction, air resistance, and gravity. What exactly are friction, air resistance, and gravity? I will be discussing them in the next slide. But as for now, what is free fall? What is free fall? Is when you release an object when only gravity acts on it. It is said to be in a state of free fall. If any other force comes into play, it is not exactly free fall. It is contradictory to a definition. Let's move ahead. So, the experiment was performed by Galileo. So who is Galileo? Galileo was the person who discovered telescope, right? So he performed the experiment. He went to the top of the Italian city of Pisa. He went to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and from the top he released two balls or two spheres. And what he wanted to say and what he wanted to observe is that this sphere will reach the ground first. And what he observed, that both the spheres reach the ground at the same time. How is it possible? Okay, so I'll also put you a question. If you have a feather and a heavy stone in your hand, if you release both of them, which one will reach the ground first? The feather or the heavy stone? I'll give you a minute to think. Which one will reach the ground first? Feather or heavy stone? You are right. It's obviously the heavy stone will reach the ground first. Because heavy stone will travel with faster velocity and will reach the ground first, because its mass is heavy. It has bigger mass compared to the feather. Right? But what you need to know, if you perform the same experiment of feather and heavy stone in vacuum. Now what exactly is vacuum? What exactly is vacuum? Vacuum is a place where there is no air. Okay, so if you perform the same experiment, if you perform the same experiment of releasing feather and heavy stone from the same height, what would you observe? You would observe that the feather and the stone reach the ground at the same time. They both reach the ground. We have a next concept coming up, that is gravitational potential energy. So what exactly is gravitational potential energy? Gravitational potential energy is similar to your potential energy or definition which you learned in 9th standard. What is that? Gravitational potential energy is the energy stored in an object because of its position above the Earth's surface. If an object is taken from Earth's surface to infinity, so what gravitational potential energy it must be having? Now see, as you are taking an object to infinity, So value of g becomes 0, as we saw in the previous video that value of g goes, it falls to 0, right? So as you're taking it to a very high value, taking it to infinity, obviously the gravitational potential energy at that point will become 0, right? And but what if the object is on the earth's surface? If the object is on the earth's surface, its value is negative. And what formula is as? The formula is g into mass of earth into mass of object upon radius of earth plus the height the object has, and it has a negative sign. Anything negative, g into mass of earth, mass of object divided by radius of earth plus height of object. Okay, we move ahead. We have escape velocity. Very interesting. A very interesting concept, escape velocity. I personally love escape velocity. Now what you need to know in escape velocity is that in physics, escape velocity is the minimum speed needed for a free non-propelled object to escape from the gravitational influence of a massive body, that is to achieve an infinite distance from it. Now you have to imagine this. Suppose you have earth. Earth attracts any other object towards itself, right? So if you want to jump upwards, you obviously will come after a particular time, you will fall downwards, right? If you take an object upwards, after a particular time, that object will ultimately be attracted towards the earth center. That object will fall towards the earth center, right? So what do you need to know in escape velocity? If you want to go away from the earth will attract you more towards itself, right? The more you try to go away from the earth, the more the earth attracts you towards itself. So how will you escape the earth's gravitational field? The earth's gravitational field is really strong because the earth is a large body, it's a huge body, right? So how will you escape the earth's gravitational field? For that you require a particular velocity, and that velocity is called as escape velocity. Now we have one more definition. An object going vertically upwards from the surface of the earth having an initial velocity equal to escape velocity. You can have this for MCQs. How much velocity is required to escape from the earth's gravitational field? The velocity should be equal to escape velocity. Then only you can escape the gravitational force of the earth. If you want to escape the gravitational force of the earth, you should have the initial velocity. Initial means starting velocity equal to escape velocity. If you do not have the initial velocity equal to the starting velocity, you will not be able to escape the earth's gravitational field. So how much is the escape velocity for earth? How much is the escape velocity for earth? How would you know? For that you need to solve an equation right away. Yeah. So if you want to escape from the earth, like this arrow, suppose there's a rocket and it wants to go away from the earth, so how much speed the rocket should be launched at, or how much speed the rocket should have? The rocket should have a speed of, how will you know? You need to know the formula. Half mv square is equal to capital G into mass of earth into mass of the rocket upon radius of earth, and escape velocity is equal to root of 2 into universal gravitational constant into mass of earth upon radius of earth. And when you solve this, when you put in the values, you know the value of g, you know the mass of earth, you know the radius of earth, and then you substitute these values, you get the value for escape velocity. And what is the escape velocity for earth? The escape velocity for earth is 11.2 kilometer per second. Means you have to travel at a speed of 11.2 kilometer per second. You understand how fast you have to be to beat the earth's gravitational field? The rockets which go away from the earth, which go into space, they have a speed of 11.2, they have speed greater than 11.2, and then only they are able to beat the earth's gravitational field. Suppose a rocket has a speed of 9 km per second, it will not be able to beat the earth's gravitational field. So you'll be having numericals based on this, or you can be having MCQs. Suppose there's a rocket, it wants to go away from the earth's gravitational field. It has an escape velocity of 8 km per second. Would it be able to escape the earth's gravitational field? They'll ask you yes, no, I don't know. Since you are my smart students, I teach you how to be a smart worker and not a hard worker. A hard worker, what does he do? He keeps on mugging up things, he keeps on mugging up lessons the entire year, and when the point of exam comes, he forgets everything. But at my channel, I don't teach you that. I teach you smart learning. Okay, so write down in below in the comments, we are into a smart learning channel. Let's move ahead. So what is the escape velocity for Earth? It should be 11.2 km per second. You just need to remember the number 11. That's it. We move ahead. We have the escape velocity. As I promised you, the escape velocity for different planets. For Earth, the escape velocity is 11 km, approximately 11 or 11.2 km per second. For Sun, the escape velocity is 600 km per second. For black hole, is faster than the speed of light, and for neutron star, it is 1 lakh plus kilometer per second. You should have a speed of 1 lakh plus kilometer per second. And for the black hole, you should have a speed faster than speed of light. What is the speed of light? What is the speed of light? If you know the answer, let me know in the comments. What is the speed of light? Let's move ahead. Then we have a concept which is called as weightlessness in space. A very interesting concept. The concept explains how astronauts float in space. Earth-orbiting astronauts are weightless for the same reasons that riders of a free-falling amusement park or a free-falling elevator are weightless. They are weightless because there is no external force pushing or pulling upon their body. In each case, gravity is the only force acting upon your body. Now, what is actually weightlessness in space? You have to know this. It's basically because the astronaut is only under the force of gravity. There are no such force as friction or air in space. If you didn't know, you have to know this, that there's no such force in space. Only gravity acts on the satellite. And since the body is into a state of free fall, they float in space. They are actually not floating, they are in a state of free fall. So we are done with the video. In the next video, I'll be solving numericals. Stay healthy, stay safe. Until then, Aiden Dials takes your leave. Thank you.